open the software now. I also believe if it's possible, you can also do same. So it's opening, no? The software is still open. All right, so I'm going to share my screen now. Please, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can,
Yes,
sir.
I can see your screen.
Okay. So, like I told us the other day, we usually have three variables. We have the data view, we have the variable view, then we have the output view. So now we're going to start up today by importing some data that we're going to be using. So we are going to import some data into this software. So that's the data we'll be using for this purpose. So if you want to open, now from today henceforth, we might not be using a whole lot, or we might not be going through slides. So we have to take yeah, there are slides that I'm going to send at the end of the training, but everything we are going to be doing now is going to be on this software. So you have to take notes and be attentive, observant to all the steps that I'm going to be taking. So the first thing that you do, you've generated your data, then probably they are in Excel. Then you want to import the data into this software. So all you do is that you go to File, then you go to Open, then you can see File, click on File, you click on Open, then you click on Data. Again, I will take that again. You click on File, you click on Open, then you click on Data. So once you click on Data, this dialog will open. Now, where you have usually the way you access your directory. Now, for me, I have my the data I want to use on the desktop. So not just on the desktop, I have it on a folder I name SPSS Training. So this is that data. Okay, this the data. Then now you note that you see that this one is already in SPSS format. but the data I want to import is actually Excel. So I click on Excel. So you can see Excel now. So meaning that once you open, you have to come and change the data format that you have. If it's SPSS, then it has to be you have to make sure that it's in SPSS format. But if it's not in that format, if I take it back to SPSS to take me to all the data set that are in SPSS, then if I take it to Excel, it will take me to all the data that are in Excel. So there is no place where you can actually, if you want all the data to open, you can see them here, but it will be rough. You won't be able to access which I will. So the better you do it this way so that it will minimize a lot of things there. So now, assuming now the data, the data I want to use is, let's say, this particular data. Then I'll click on it, then it will open up, then it will show me, then I'll click OK. So you can see this is just a demo data. So this is just a demo. This is a demo data. So, but the data I want us to use is actually different. Then I'll go back again, I click on File, I click on Open, and I click on Data. And because I've used there before, it will take me straight to that place, just the way all computer software works. So now, let's say it's data 2 I want to open. I'll click on data 2, then click OK. Now, this is another data, but this is not the one I want to use. Now, the reason why I'm repeating this severally so that you guys will also get it. So I'll click on File, I click on Open, then I click on Data. Then to take me there again. Now, I want this data. You can see it's that same data set. So now I'm actually looking for a numeric data. So let's say this should be, let's take this. Yeah, I think this is the data set. So this is the data set I'm looking for. So now this is example of a data set. Now you have successfully, let me close this. No, let me also close this. Now you have successfully imported your data. So you can see the data here. So now the next thing you have to do is to check your data to be sure that they are okay. So when you are sure of that, you check the number, how many did you enter? You check the Excel to be sure that none is missing. So this is this. Now, the next thing that you want to do is to, if there are some of the data that you want to transfer, for example, now this case definition. Now you have to transform this data into numbers. This particular one, then okay. You have to convert this particular one into numbers. This case classification. Now, for you to do that, you come to transform, because you want to transform this data. Now, I want you to note this. You can transform want this data set now to be 1, I told you earlier that when you come here, you see under data variable view, we have string data, then we have numeric data. And I told you there are some analysis you want to do that the software does not accept string data. What I'm saying in essence is let's
I can see you are busy.
so what I want us to get is there are some string data that some analysis you want to do that string data the software does not allow you to use does not allow string data. So you have to convert those string data into numeric data. So how do you do this? That's what I want to show you now. Then you go to transform. Under this transform, you see recode into same variable. Then you see recode into different variable. On no account should you recode into same variable, because if you do, whatsoever you recode will automatically replace what the new value you are assigning will replace the old one. So if there are issues, errors, you will not be able to actually go back to check. So the best is that you recode into different variables. So what you do is this: recode into different variables. So what you want to record, you move it there. Is this case definition that I want to record? Then what do I want to call it? Code case underscore definition. So click on change. Then you click on old and new values. So this is where the real thing is done. Now under this old value, remember that we have them as case and control. So you say wherever you see case, call it 1, then you add. And wherever you see control, call it 0, and you add. So once you do that, then you click on continue, then you click on OK. Then if I go back now, at the end of this software, it has generated a new data for me. Can you see it here? You can see it has generated a new data for me. So after that is done, then I'll go back again to my variable view. I'll still go and rename them so that, because if anybody just sees 0, 1 and 0, we don't know what that means. So I'll still come here and place the values. Now remember we said 1 is case. So and 0 is control. You add that, and we have that. Then if you come back here now, you can see it has we've added those values. Now the reason why we added this value was what I told you, that there are some, if you come back to, let's go back to this variable view. Now remember that this was what we transformed into this last. You can see that the data type here is string. Then the last one that we did, the data type is what? Is numeric. So this data can actually be used to do those kind of analysis. Now there are some analysis that it doesn't matter whether they are a string or not. For example, if you just want to run count, frequency, it does not matter. You can go ahead and run frequency whether they are when you want to do, for example, t-test, you want to do ANOVA, you want to do some other kind of analysis. If they are not if they are not numeric, the software will not accept it. So that is the reason why we do that. So Is there any question at this point? Now, remember I told you that the output variable, whatsoever you do, it will always write the coding, as what you did, it will write everything out for you. So you can see that it told me that I recode this, then I call this into this, then and executed. So it will show you all what you did. Now, before this drop and insert came software in SPSS, the primary running of SPSS was actually in this format. You have to write all this code, then write all this code, then you execute, then the result will come out. But that has actually been overtaken now by this new menu type of that you have. So before this menu came in, this was how, just the way you do your normal coding, that is how the coding was being done. Your normal coding in all those other software, that was how coding was also being done in SPSS before. So any question so far? Hello? Any question so far? Hello? Any question so far? Peace, any question? Is it that piece too? I don't know. Is that Ali? Eh?
No,
Eh?
this is not Ali. This is Ali Dapo.
Okay. Because this is the first time I'm actually seeing you in the class.
Yes, yes, yes. I traveled, so I've been absent for that. That was what I was usually asking for the recorded classes.
Okay, okay, okay. All right. So, peace, any question? Mike, any question for now? Hello? Okay, if there are no response, I take that to mean there's no question for now. All right. So I'm going to continue the class then. So now we've successfully import our data. So the first assignment now is that you are going to generate data in your Excel or by yourself. Just look for any kind of data, whether at your lab, if you are working in a chemistry lab, just look for 10 male, 10 female subjects, input their age, if it's chemistry, then you input 10 male and 10 female, then you input their age, then their gender is already stated, then you input their maybe glucose test, then cholesterol or whatsoever kind of data that you can lay your hand. Then if you are in microbiology, then you also do same 10 male, 10 female, you enter their malaria status test, then enter their age too. Then if they did culture, then you can enter their bacterial growth and susceptibility. Then once you do that, export them into the software, into SPSS software, then and and you will do all those other things that I'm going to do too. So I don't know, have you gotten that? That's the first assignment. And at least by on today's Tuesday, by Thursday, I will expect that you turn it in, so that I'll be sure that um, you are following. So let's go back to the class now. So the first thing that I told you, when you have successfully enter your data, you have done the coding that you need to do, then if they are numeric data, the next thing that you are supposed to do is to check for normality, is to check if the data is normally distributed or not, because that is going to inform a whole lot of decision that you are going to be taking. It's going to determine the kind of analysis you are going to run. It's going to determine a whole lot of information. Now, how do you check for normality? Remember that I told you that was the last class we did. In theory, I showed you how to do that. But in the software, how do you check for normality? Now, assuming I want to check for the normality of the age of these people. And now, how do I go about that? I'll go to analyze, then I'll go to descriptive. Again, I will repeat that. Go to analyze, then you go to descriptive, then you come to explore. Analyze, descriptive, then you come to explore. Then once you come to explore, then you move the data that you want to. Now is age that I want to explore. Now I'll check the statistic. What do I want to? I'm not changing anything here. Then the plots. I'm going to remember. I'm looking for normality plot with test. So let me take that again. I said you go to analyze, you go to descriptive statistics, then you go to explore. Then you move the data you want to check normality, you move it into the dependent variable. Then every other one you leave it, leave it out. Then you click on statistic. We are not changing anything there. Then we just want the descriptive statistics. Then we also want to check if there are outliers. It should show us the outliers. Then plot, you click on, you remove this, leave. Then you click on you also remove factor. Okay, you can leave that factor. Then you click on normality with normality plot with test, because this is actually what we need most here. So click continue. Then option, no, we are not changing anything there. Then after you have done all of this, then you click on OK. So once you click on OK, then it will run this test for you. Now you can see here, it will show you case processing. This is the output. You can see it here. This is the output. So it will show you the case summary. Now it will show you valid case data. Then to show you missing, there are missing data, to show you the percentage. Now you can see we have 132, and the percentage is 100%, and we do not have no missing data for us. Then these are the descriptive for the data. Now you can see here that we have the mean age. It shows us the mean age. Then 95% confidence interval. We have the upper bound, then we have the lower bound. Then 5% trim, we don't need that. Variance, we need this. Then standard deviation, we need this. Then maximum and minimum. Then the range too. Then the skewness too. Then and the kurtosis. Now it will give us all this value. And that's not where we are going now. You can see here is showing us the extreme values. Now, under this extreme value, see 1, we have 20. Now, all these are the different, it's showing us where we have extreme values. We have the highest extreme value, we have some at case number 20, 44. Now it will show us, then show us 75, then it's showing us 70 as case 78, then as case 100. Now all the values were 40, 40, 40, 40, 40. Now here the lowest one is also showing us as case 90, we have 20, 37 we have 20, 111 we have 24, 124, 124 we have 25, then at 84 we have 25. So it shows us those values that this software classify as extreme values. Why did they call them extreme value? Because these are outside the bound. If you check the mean, they are far from the mean value. Then if you also check the one it refers to a lower value, lowest, they are also far from the mean value. Now let's check, let's go to our the test for normality. Remember I told us that test for normality in SPSS is usually the KS test, which is also referred to as we have two tests here. We have the KS test and the SW test. Now, the KS test is usually the one that is used mostly. Now, you can see here that the significant value, what's it called? The p-value is significant in both cases. So, and you remember when I was teaching us, I told us that if the p-value is significant, it shows that the normality is not, the data is not normally distributed. And you know, I also told you that before you start, you usually state there are assumptions or hypotheses. The non-hypothesis in this case now would be that the age of the female subjects in our study are normally distributed, while the non or the alternate hypothesis that they are not normally distributed. So having look at this data now, you can see that, let's even go further. Now you can see the plot here. Now let's also go further. Then you can see the what is it called? The box plot. Now the only thing that we didn't have here is the histogram. So we can easily bring in the histogram to also check further. Now, how do we do that? To bring the histogram, you just go to you can actually bring the histogram here. Then move the age here. Then we don't want this. Then under chart, then we need the histogram. So you can say with curve, then we'll continue, then we'll click OK. So the histogram will come in now. Now you can see the histogram. So you can see that although if you compare this with the other one I showed us in the PowerPoint that I showed us, you can see they are actually a bit similar. But the issue here is that you can see that the values are not well distributed. They are only distributed. They are not this side. A whole lot of a few data are missing here. Then here too, few data are missing, and a whole lot of data are actually concentrated at this point, and it's supposed to be at the center, not at this left side. So looking at taking all this, and you know that the box plot too, that the mean value must as much be at the center for us to have, but you can see that it's tending towards the down part. So, and you see that this is the upper limit and these are the lower limit of the data that we have. So have we considered all these parameters and also looking at the KS test and the SW test, then we are going to reject the non-hypothesis that states that the age were normally distributed. So in this case, it's not actually normally distributed. So I'm going to stop and I'm going to ask us questions based on what I taught us before. Now, looking at this, let me stop sharing now. Now, looking at what I taught us before, if this data is not normally distributed, so what test are we going to be looking at to run in this case? I'm expecting our responses. If you guys are not going to respond to this, I'm going to end the class. Then I will expect all of you to go back and read and watch all the previous record videos, because if you don't get this part, it's going to be really difficult for us to move forward. That's just the truth. Hello.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, good
Actually,
evening.
like I explained earlier,
Yeah.
this actually the first class. Just able to go through just the first class. So because of that, I do not really have the answer to that question. But
Okay.
if it's fine by your suggestion, I will not mind. Because I actually thought we might postpone the remaining of the class till next year because of the exam being our process. Since we have any class today, it's fine. But there has been
Okay. All right. So, Peace, what about you? Hello, Peace. Hello, Madam Peace.
Yes, I'm with you.
So, the question I raised, so what's your suggestion? Okay, if there are no response, what I want us to do, we are going to interact on the WhatsApp group then, because I really need us to get some basic things, just like what this guy said now, that he was not around. So I really want us to, if it's not going to be an issue, I think what I will do, I may give you guys 2 days. I really need you guys, not just about teaching, making the all the presentation, but I need to be sure that you guys are really following. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to give you people today and tomorrow to look at all the records, all the videos, that all the classes we had, take a look at the PowerPoints, then ask your questions on the group, so that by today's Tuesday, by Thursday when we reconvene for the class, then people will really be able to follow up. That is really very essential for me. It's not just about um, having the class or presenting or just teaching and going, but I need to be sure that, need to know that you guys are actually following, which is very key. So what are your suggestions then?
okay. So once again,
Hello?
hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Yes. So like I suggested earlier, I think because this part that you are explaining now, because
Mm.
it's a very critical part of understanding SPS. It is like a practical class already. So if we are not well grounded in last classes and last recording, I think it will be very difficult to grasp this new part that you're taking. Although it's not an excuse because we as students are supposed to be up to
Of course, but not just being student or it's not just about student-teacher relationship, but I need you
Yes,
guys to really
to
um
understand it.
to understand. Yes. So
So if you can permit us,
I
we
will
would like
give
to
you
keep on.
people today, then tomorrow take it to look at all you need to look at. Then sorry, I may have to mute you because of the noise. Okay. So take today and tomorrow to look at all you need to look at. Then we'll reconvene on Thursday. I think that will be fine. Will be better for us. So look at the PowerPoint, ask questions on the group if there is any aspect that is not clear. Then we'll be able to go on further. Because the truth is, if you understand all what we have learned so far and what I'm teaching now, within the next two classes, we'll be done with this thing. So it's essential, it's important that you actually get those bases. Because every other thing we are going to be doing, once you understand what you need to do, it's just to be clicking buttons and your result will be coming out. So, but you need to understand the principles. You need to understand why we do this. You don't just do things because you want someone says. You should understand the basic principle behind every click you are clicking. So, I think that would be better for us. So, I think we'll bring the class to a close at this moment. Then, all right. See you guys. Oh, please, do you have something else to say?
No, nothing. I'll just go through the notes again, like you said.
What do you say?
I said I'll just go through the previous PDFs and stuff that you sent on the platform again.
So at least take today and tomorrow to review the YouTube, the records, and the PowerPoint. Then ask questions. Why is this like this? If there's a PowerPoint, can screenshot. Why is it like this? Why is this one this? Put it on the group. Let's interact on the group. So I think that would be better. All right. So see you
Okay.
guys on Thursday.